AOC. I just want to just just want to point something out here, because I think the idea of AOC is being shattered now in real time. I mean, look, say what you will about MTG, but there were Democrats that voted with MTG's bill about not giving $500 billion in defense funds to Israel. Now, this war in Gaza is horrific. People are starving, everything else in between. But it seems like it's like pulling teeth to get AOC to even give a response to it. Now, in my opinion, everything that's happening with this war is not only horrific, but I fear that we are at the point of no return. I mean, we are witnessing a crisis happen that the Democrats could have stopped. And I'm going to first put the blame on Democrats. Yes, it's easy to wag our finger at Trump. And you know what? Yeah, his administration is just as responsible too. But I'm looking at people like AOC and Bernie Sanders. Oh, my goodness. And they need to be held accountable. The left is pushing back against AOC's weak response. So first of all, shout out to Nick from RBN and Hotspot.
AOC is currently melting down after the massive backlash she faced after voting to fund the Iron Dome. Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced a resolution to defund the Iron Dome, and AOC voted against it and thought she could deflect away from a horrible vote by shifting focus onto Marjorie Taylor Greene. So AOC votes to fund the Iron Dome once again. Then she turns around and smears people who sided with Marjorie Taylor Greene and supported defunding the Iron Dome as aligning with Nazis. How can AOC and the NATO left accuse anyone else of aligning with Nazis after voting to arm Banderite Nazis in Ukraine because of their Putin derangement syndrome? The NATO left still doesn't realize that they forever lost the ability to play the Nazi card. AOC is really implying that people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and the entirety of the left who don't support funding the Iron Dome are aligning with Nazis? AOC just completely exposed herself. AOC messed up so badly, she united the entirety of the left who teamed up to drag her ass. And AOC is not taking it well. After facing this massive backlash for being a Zionist puppet, AOC ran to shit-lived Bluesky to complain about how she's being canceled by the left. AOC complaining about the threat environment. Wow.
Let me get this straight. You're a United States representative. You're on X, which is by far more popular than Bluesky or Mastodon or Threads or whatever the hell that's out there. Look. Whether you like Elon Musk or not, X, Twitter, however you want to call it, I still prefer the name Phoenix. It would have been better. Still would have had the X and still would have had the bird, but whatever. People don't listen to me. You have a larger platform. Why are you running the Bluesky? Your safe space? Life is not a college arts campus. It's brutal and unforgiving, and it will beat you within an inch of your life because it doesn't care about the threat environment. This is violence. Yeah, Jimmy Dore knows all about that. Especially when Jimmy Dore was just asking her, hey, what about forced to vote? Remember when all of us were asking him about forced to vote?
She is voting to send military aid to a state committing a genocide. It's peak narcissist, Zionist behavior. Bernie Sanders and AOC are disgusting liberal Zionists who support the existence of Israel, reject liberal Zionism, and embrace Palestinian liberation.
Now, we're going to pause here for a second. Torwin, she has a following of tens of millions, but she's being canceled. Oh, my goodness. I'd love if we had tens of millions of people. My goodness, how are you being canceled when you have legions upon legions, millions upon millions of people who follow you? Now, are you afraid you upset those tens of millions of people? Well, you got to be consistent here. Harlan's Media believes in free speech. We believe in third parties. Citizen ballot initiatives. I mean, if I ever speak anything differently, be like, whoa, a pod person got Kit's brain, or Peter, I don't know, Peter Thiel put a computer chip in my brain. I mean, come on. Torwin, absolutely spot on. It's everyone needs to relax. So, Moat Witch, Nick is so based. Yes, that's exactly it. James Rukila. Well, you know what? I would just say she's a liberal. A liberal. But of course, when you have this following, like, can you just take it easy there for a second? Can you not be grateful with your slice of pizza? But apparently AOC now is upset that she's being challenged. Well, AOC, maybe if you were consistent and you didn't have all these failures, to which I got to say, hey, to all the people who were upset at Hardlands Media or RBN or Jimmy Dore or everybody else way early on in 2021, remember when we were all talking about force the vote? I remember. I so freaking remember. Now we were right.
Just as a sample of what AOC saw when she posted the statement, some prominent leftists who often support her, Caitlin Johnson wrote, "I don't give the mass shooter guns and ammunition. I just bought him a bulletproof vest so nobody could stop the massacre." Summarizing what AOC is saying, I didn't give the mass shooter the guns and ammunition. I just bought him a bulletproof vest so nobody could stop him. Aaron Mate said, if you recognize that Israel is committing a genocide, why are you voting in favor of giving it $500 billion for anything? Cenk Uygur said, I don't know why you voted for it, because otherwise mainstream media would have obliterated. I know why you voted for it, because otherwise mainstream media would have obliterated you. But just saying Israel needs defensive missiles, a misnomer, doesn't address the question of why we have to pay for it. Why do we owe them anything when they're in the middle of a genocide?
I want everyone just to remember, just because Cenk and everybody else is now jumping on board, never forget who gave us this Frankenstein. Okay, never forget who gave us AOC. The Justice Democrats was founded by whom? Ba-da-bum, bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. Cenk Uygur, Kyle Kulinski. They were on the board. Now, I remember, I remember when they were kicked off of Justice Democrats, and I found it to be bullshit. But just remember who gave us that. Remember. Cenk was platforming her, too. Oh, well. Abiding 71. Fat Tony simps so hard for Mama Bear 2.0. Hey, Abiding 71. You be nice. Everyone be nice. Everyone be nice. And Torwin writes, she's a complete sellout and tool, and the fact that she refused to leverage that massive following she had proves that. Absolutely. If I had that following, listen, you know that skit from The Simpsons? You know, when they're making fun of Schoolhouse Rock? You know, at the end when they say, congratulations, you're a Bill? When I give the sign, all right, boys and girls, doors open, go on in, and everyone and all the crazy bills start coming in. That's gonna be us. That's gonna be us, folks. We're gonna have fun.
Z Squirrel, who is not typically an AOC supporter anyway, but for exactly these reasons, said there's no such thing as defensive military aid. When you give Israel the military infrastructure that ensures it can do its genocide and launch its wars against Lebanon, Yemen, Iran, Syria with full impunity, you are directly, intentionally funding and arming the genocide. Kyle Kulinski, who most definitely is typically a supporter of AOC, said simply, this is pathetic. And there's hundreds and thousands of comments like that.
Did mommy approve of that tweet? All right. I'm sorry. I should not have said that. I should. Anyways, Mastermind. Cenk was arrested outside J.D. Vance's office trying to break in disguised as a couch cushion. Mastermind hour. I love you, brother. Get up. Go see the White House counselor.
That from people on the American left who, again, are usually willing to swallow what AOC is saying, many of them. But in this case, it was so brazenly idiotic, made no sense on its own terms, that unless you have supporters who want to be lied to and manipulated and be fed a reason to like you, then no one's going to buy this from her. And she recognized that, and she went back to make yet another statement justifying what she did. And of course, she did so by depicting herself as the victim. This is what she wrote today on both Bluesky and X. Google is free. If you're saying I voted for military funding, you are lying.
Receipts attached. Drag me from my positions all you want, but lying about them doesn't make you part of the left. If you believe neo-Nazis are welcome and operate in good faith, you can have them. Can we pause here for a second? You are a United States Congresswoman. You're acting like people don't know how to use the interwebs, use computers. I've seen everyone now become computer literate, okay? Like, everybody can figure this thing out. From the haters to the players, okay? Like, AOC, grow the hell up. You know? Every single time I've seen AOC tweet out, I'm wondering, what's going on up there? I mean, hello? Earth to McFly, hello? All this time, and here's the thing, on a personal note, because I'm trying to be neutral and objective and give my analysis, but on a personal note, it's like, it feels good seeing everybody across the left, let's call it the left, really call out AOC, because for a long time, she had a shield wall, a protection shield protecting her, okay? She had everything working for her. And I remember in 2021, the pure taboo it was to go against her. Because, she still was running high on the 2016, 2020 era. And you know what? I might have to rewind a statement I said to Matt Weinglass on the show earlier this year, when there was talk about AOC running for president. Now, I do hope that people don't have short-term memory, but I remember saying this to Matt Weinglass. Do you have any idea how much shite we're going to get for criticizing AOC's 2028 run? If she continues to spiral down and keep on flailing about and once again showing her hypocrisy, no fight the oligarchy tour, no hype train, no anti-Trump derangement thing is going to help inflate her career, because it's abundantly clear that when you have somebody like MTG, and whether or not it was sincere or not, but whether if you have somebody like MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, out-lefting her, and even some Democrats voting for her bill, that says so much about how AOC is failing in real time right before us. So I don't want to hear any shite. I don't want to hear any bull. Sometimes Scam Likely is calling me. Scam Likely, they be calling me. But nonetheless, I think it's important that we look at how she's falling apart and not taking any kind of accountability, as the left, rightfully so, criticizes her. Let's continue on.
She's attached. Okay. How is it not military funding if you're voting to send Israel $500 million for missiles and air defense systems? What do you think that is? Social spending? Of course that's military spending. And then she has receipts attached where she voted against sending billions of dollars to buy weapons, other weapons. Then she went on, drag me for my positions all you want, but lying about them doesn't make you part of the left. And then she added this: if you believe neo-Nazis are welcome and operating in good faith, you can have them. What does that even mean? Like, because she thinks Marjorie Taylor Greene is a neo-Nazi, then that's all the reason that's why you should vote against her bill, no matter what it says. And also, is she accusing Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and Al Green and Summer Lee, all of whom voted for Marjorie Taylor Greene's bill, because they've said what's happening in Israel is genocide, and that's the only cogent position? Is she accusing them of acquiescing to neo-Nazis?
That is actually a rather interesting point. AOC, you're making a very interesting statement. Anybody that's supporting MTG is a member of the Third Reich from Germania? I'm sorry. Yes, I know. The Roman Empire fell centuries ago, but it's still real to me. She's accusing people of being part of Germania? Not on my watch. Not on my watch here. No, not on my invisible watch. It's a bold statement, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for her. No, probably not. I don't know what the future holds for AOC, but there's been a lot of people who've been commenting and stating, hey, it's time to primary AOC. Maybe so.
Also, if Marjorie Taylor Greene's view is simply, hey, we shouldn't go around trying to dominate the world militarily, we should just use the military for our own interest at home, isn't that the opposite of the Nazi mentality, which is to say, let's go conquer the world? And for that matter, if you believe that the Israelis are committing a genocide because they don't value Palestinian life, isn't it more of a Nazi position to want to send them $500 billion while they're doing that than to offer a bill at political risk to yourself to cut off that funding. Classic AOC. I'm being victimized. I'm being lied about. How dare you say I want to fund their military spending when it's exactly what she did. And then at the end, she just like randomly implies that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a Nazi as though that's relevant and that nobody on the left should want anything to do with her. When 4 of her much more courageous colleagues just voted with Marjorie Taylor Greene because they agree with her, regardless of what they think of her. Just everything, every classic AOC tactic. Self-victimization, whining, making herself the victim, calling people Nazis. Anyone who criticizes her is lying in bad faith. Zero willingness to say, I understand why you're angry. I get the argument. No, none of that. She can't even give an inch, not even to her own most faithful supporters. She's grown out of the left. She's willing to let the left vote for her, but she doesn't care about the left at all. She has her eyes on much bigger prizes. It's why she loves going on Face the Nation or CNN or whatever, but never any of the left-wing podcasts that help put her into office. She, in her mind, is Senator Ocasio-Cortez or House Speaker Ocasio-Cortez. She's Nancy Pelosi, basically. The morphing is very clear. I'm not saying it's complete. She's still missing the huge insider trading driven massive stock portfolio, although I have no doubt in some way wealth is coming her way.
Speaking of which, now look, I want to be very careful. An article came before me. Sometimes I have look, hey, take that, Piers Morgan. You might have reached millions of subscribers, but I still have little birds who land on my shoulder. And look, I try and read everybody's email messages as much as I can. I try. I'm only human. That's why you should be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe and hit the ring bell notification to help boost up Hard Lens Media's numbers in this day and age of censorship. But when a little birdie lands on my shoulder, and look, sometimes I get lucky. I try and read through all the emails and messages. I try. I'm only one man, and I'm so sorry if I do skip over you. It's not malicious. But something came before me. Well, gee, Kit, what came before you? How good is it? Well, I think it's amazing. And you guys are going to be like, whoa.
Amazing. 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 Amazing.
Well, gee, kid, what's this amazing thing you want to tell us? Now, I'm going to butcher this person's name, but they were AOC's first chief of staff. This has been tweeted out by AFL-CIA Local 3131312. AOC's first chief of staff, Sakat Chakrabarti, was the founding engineer of Peter Thiel and Elon Musk-backed payment processing company Stripe. What? The latest fundraising round by the digital payments from firm Stripe has boosted the net worth of its co-founders, Patrick and John Collison, by around $11.5 billion. Hey, all right. Catapulting them into the top bracket of the world's millennial billionaires. Not bad for two brothers from a tiny Tapari village in Dromir, population barely 100. I butchered that. And this article came out Wednesday, the 17th, March 2021. Hey, today's Wednesday. So, just going down here. But the alumni of the company, including Sakat Chakrabarti, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's former chief of staff and leading proponent of the Green New Deal, perhaps the Collison's biggest achievement beyond even their multi-billionaire wealth, is in getting this far without making significant enemies along the way. Oh, you're always going to be making enemies, baby. Peer closely, and it's not impossible to guess that where their sympathies lie. The company was backed by the Trump-supporting venture capitalist Peter Thiel at an early stage, and Patrick is closely involved with the same rationalist community as influencer libertarian blogger Tyler Cohen. Hey, you know what? Interesting. But I find it interesting that AOC's first chief of staff was there. Huh. I wonder. So what can we take away from this? Well, I think something's being exposed here, and I think we all know what
All
it is.
lies will be exposed.
And AOC's attempt to try and make us feel bad. Here's how we think about it.
Here's what I think about it.
And of course, now that AOC is telling people to look at Google and do everything and call her out, well, of course, hey, Google is free. Guys, did you know Google is free? Let's have democracy in the chat. Type 1 for no, kid. I didn't know Google is free. Type 2, yes, kid. Google is free, and it's tracking you right now, honey child. And you know what that means when somebody says, "Hey, did you know Google's free?" That tells me something.
I don't know anything about politics. I don't know anything about politics. I don't know anything about politics.
And it's hilarious to me.